Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing the mid-year book freakout tag because I figured why not? I saw a lot of them and I really liked them. So we're just gonna get into it. The first question is the best book I've read so far this year, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I am in love with this book. The world building is so amazing and I've never had like such intricate world building, and the differences between the two point of views in this book are beautiful, and the writing is beautiful, and the myths and like the ideas behind everything is so unique, and it is such an amazing book, and I think it's by far one of the best books I've read so far this year, and everyone should read it if they haven't already. And the second one's coming out this year. I don't think it's released yet, right? But I think it will be soon, and that I am super excited for. The next question is best sequel you've read this year, and that would have to be Curtsies and Conspiracies by Gail Forman. I loved the, what's it called? It's like this finishing school series by her. It's, there's 4 books in the series and I read all of them this year. I thought it was such a good book. The second book just expanded the world even more. It developed the plotline even more. It didn't suffer in any way. If anything, got even better. The humor was better. The like intrigues and everything. It was such a good book and I am so in love with it. Question number 3 is the new release that I still need to read this year. And for that, I put Children of Blood and Bone by Tami Adeyemi. This book is huge in BookTube. Everyone's in love with it. And I really need to get to it. I just don't see that happening soon because I have a lot of other books that are like pressing. They're more pressing to me. So I'll probably try to read those first. But this is definitely a book that I do need to try and read this year. Although like it's pretty big. But it has such an interesting plotline. The next book is the most anticipated book of this year that isn't out yet. And for that I put Escape from Houdini, which is the 3rd book to the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Malasacco, and I love that series, and I'm not ready for it to be done. Wait, is it the last book? Or is it a trilogy or is it a series? You know, I'm not sure. It might be a series actually, but I feel like I heard it was their last adventure. I'm gonna hope it's not just a trilogy because it is so good and I'm not ready for it to end. But I'm so excited because in this book they're going to America and they're going to be solving murders in America, and I believe it's around the first serial killer in America, which was in Chicago. So it'll be really interesting to learn about that and to get back with those amazing characters, which the characters in that book are so good, and if I had read it this year they would probably make it onto like my favorite characters of the year, but sadly none of the characters that I super duper love I've started this year, which is sad, because even the Finishing Girl series, the Curtsies and Conspiracy series, I read the first one last year, so I can't really include any of those characters because that is a question later on. But the next book is the biggest disappointment I've read this year, and this isn't a negative thing, but it was disappointing to me because I expected more, and I usually don't go into books expecting things, so this is really the only book I could think of, and that's Blue Lily, Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. It was still a wonderful book. It's still a 4-star book for me, but I expected so much more. This like almost suffers from second book syndrome, except it's the 3rd book. I can tell it's setting up for the finale and all of the amazing things that are going on in that one, but I felt like the main characters didn't have any development at all. I felt like all of the side characters did, and you fall in love with like new side characters and it was super exciting and good, which is awesome, but they didn't really do anything with the main characters. Like they just didn't grow in any way in my opinion, which was disappointing. I mean, 2 of them kind of did, but really not as much as they had in the past, and it's still just like, it's just setting up for the next one. It's still such a good book though, so like I'm not mad on it obviously since it's still a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book is the biggest surprise, and that for me is People Like Us. I loved this book. It was definitely one of the best books I love this year. It has representation in it, which I enjoyed, and I loved the way they handled the representation. I thought that was really great. I loved the mystery and like all the pieces into it, and finding out that everyone has secrets that they were kept hidden, and just, it is such a good book. 5 out of 5 stars. I recommend it to anyone. It's so good. It's a good mystery and thriller, and like I just love that book. It's seriously so good, and I kind of want to reread it now. Like, I would totally reread that book right now. The next question is my new favorite author, which I am going with Adam Silvera, but this is a very difficult question because I don't really look into authors, but he's one that I'm really into after reading They Both Die at the End, and I'd love to read more of his books. I actually think one of my goals for the next couple days is to look up authors and what they've written and see if there's someone I'm interested in, and then to try and follow their books, because I think that's just like a good idea if I really love someone's work, to try and follow it like I do with Brandon Sanderson, who's really the only one I follow besides like Rick Riordan. So I'm going to work on expanding that this year. But my newest fictional crush, okay, this one isn't very good. Like, he's not the best person, but I think he is also a great person at heart. He just has flaws, and also that's makes it better. But it is a character from A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Clues, and that is Malcolm. He is a sorcerer in this book who is learning at the same time the main character is to like become a full-fledged sorcerer. But he is a flirt, he's charming and witty, he's brave and fearless, and he's funny. Like, he's so funny in the funny flirty way, which is my favorite in real life as well, because I'm kind of that way. But he's also, of course, like, kind of full of himself and expects things and kind of a jerk, but he realizes that, and it's not all fixed at once, but he apologizes with his actions and his words, so he really does show he's sorry, and you see him like develop and become a better person. And honestly, you guys, read this book. This should be also one of my favorite books of this year, but there's like too many, but this one I'm obsessed with and really need to continue. It's so good, you guys. Like, I can't even. Okay, so my newest favorite character is from A Price Guide to the Occult, and that is the main character, Noir. I know it's the author that did this, but the way that Noir, like, dropped hints about her powers and how she had a hard past, but she was strong enough to get through it, and how she, just, like, she was so, like, she was such an amazing person and so interesting and different, like, in all the best ways, and I really loved her, and I loved how strong she was, and how she realized that she's stronger than she thought she was, and how caring she was about people, even if they betrayed her. Like, she's just such a good person, and she's so interesting, and I'm so in love with her, and her name is really awesome. That book is also, like, tied for one of the top books I thought about doing it. It's such a good book, you guys. You seriously need to read it. Oh my god. So the next question is books that made you cry, which is a difficult thing because a lot of books make me cry, but not recently. So I couldn't remember because it's been so long, but I figured that remembering the plot line of this book, Even the Darkest Stars, definitely would have made me cry. And I'm pretty sure I remember crying to it, and I was so upset. And I forgot about that book until I was looking through my Goodreads, and I was like, oh my god, that book is so amazing. I totally recommend it. There's so much fantastic things that happen. Oh my god, that book is good. I need to see when the next one comes out. I missed that book. Oh my god, I'm sweating, it's so hot. But that book is super good, and I know it made me cry because my god, the ending, oh my god, it's like so emotional, and I can't handle it. So a book that made me happy is Roar, which I currently don't have because my friend's reading it because I gave it to her to read. But this is my favorite book of the year as well. It was, but like since I haven't read it in a little while, it's like not my current obsession. But this world building is amazing. The characters are amazing, and like their character evolution, and like the world is so bright, and I love that, even though it has so many dark things. Like it takes place in this beautiful place, and it's like nothing I've ever read before with the plot, so it's like kind of the same description I gave for Strange the Dreamer, but there's such different stories, and it made me so happy to read it. I was smiling, I couldn't put it down, even though it's so emotional. It was such a good book, and I totally recommend everything on this list to everyone, to be honest, even like the books I'm not so happy about. But the next one is favorite book to movie adaptation this year, and I haven't watched any. I didn't watch Love, Simon. In the Darkest Mind isn't out yet, or The Hate You Give, which are all movies that are coming out. So I just haven't watched them, and I haven't read Simon and the Homo Sapien Agenda yet either, so I couldn't compare them. So I just don't really have anything for this question, but I should probably start trying to work on that. The next question is the favorite review you've done, but I can't answer this because I don't do reviews. I'm thinking about getting into it. I just don't really know how to do them, so I'd have to really like look it up and like figure it out, and I just haven't decided to do that yet, but I think that is something I might be interested in. I'm just not sure if that's like the style of video I'm actually into. But the next question is the most beautiful book I bought this year, which I have to say is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. This book is so gorgeous to me, and the cover is so meaningful. I haven't even read the book, but like from reading the synopsis, I understand the importance of the color, and this book just like grabbed my attention, and I couldn't not buy it when I saw it. So it's definitely the most beautiful cover, except there's so many more, but I just had to go with that one because it's the one that I was like, I have to have just because it's so gorgeous. And then the next question is, what book do you need to read before the end of the year? And the answer to that is a lot. I want to reread the Lost Hero series by Rick Riordan. I want to read at least like one shelf of my TBR shelf, like that'd be great. That's probably not gonna happen. But I decided to pick a sequel because I really want to continue with the series because it's one of my favorite series, but I have not continued with it for like no good reason. So I picked Wind Witch by Susan Dennard, and I love this series. I think it's so beautiful. The world is beautiful. Everything's beautiful. Siri thought I was talking to her when I said series. That's just rude. But I love this book, and I really, really need to continue with it. So that's something that like I'm hoping I can do sometime soon. But geez, I feel like I have to do so many things now. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna like keep reading. I'm gonna try to do more reading vlogs because they inspired me to read more. I can totally do some 24-hour reading challenges. I just need to like think ahead in advance of what I want to do and stuff like that. And I have this giant thing I want to do too with like a 7-day challenge. So I have a lot I want to try to do this year, but we'll see how that all goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and comment down below any of these questions that intrigued you the most, your answer to them. Like, what's the book you're looking forward to releasing the most? That's a fun one. I was looking through the releases and I was like, this is so cool. So, like, let me know, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!